Hello everyone, happy May the 4th, wherever you are in the world. My name is Gabriel Garcia, many of you know me as the Wandering Quill and the Wandering Scribe, and welcome to another update video. Now, before I begin, I want to give a huge thank you to all of my guests who partook in last month's lineup of authors, historians, and special guests. It really means a lot to me that they were able to come on the show and spread their love of history, reading, the book world, and so forth. And I'm really excited to showcase this month's lineup as well. So, I hope you all enjoy the slew of guests that are coming up next week. Now, the first announcement I want to make is that if you've been following me on my social media, then you will know that I revealed the cover of my third book, Michael, the Last Angel of Earth. It is a fantasy dystopian novel, the beginning of a trilogy and potentially a series, where the titular character, Archangel Michael, must now wander the world, powerless and lacking his angelic nature, in a world ravaged by monsters and demons. Along the way, he meets many interesting characters, some of whom are demigods, some of whom are tied to his angelic past. And on his journey, he not only has to recover a lost holy relic that could potentially save the world and humanity, but also help him reclaim his name. Now, more details on the pre-order and ARC applications will be coming soon, so be on the lookout for that. The second announcement I want to make are the new books that I'll be showcasing here on the channel. Now, many of you know that I read a lot of historical fiction, fantasy, and sci-fi. However, I decided to change it up a bit because over the last 2 weekends, I had the opportunity to go to a small local convention called Anacon in Anaheim, California. And while there, I had the opportunity to meet comic writers, indie authors, and more. And if you know me, I like to buy books. And so I bought some. And reading them, I was blown away. And I felt that these books needed to be shared to a large audience, or an even larger audience. So without further ado, let me show you the mixture of comics, graphic novels, and books that I'll be showcasing here on the channel. Now, the first book we are going to begin is one I'm really interested to show, is called Jalisco. Jalisco by Caden Phoenix. Now, from what I've been told, this is part of a 5-book series following 5 women from Latin backgrounds, from East LA, New York, parts of Mexico, Florida, and so forth. Each of them have superhero-like abilities, some of whom are trained, some of them have powers through circumstances, and not only do they fight for what's right, but they also deal with a lot of real-world topics, such as, in this book, this has to deal with the abduction of women and the disappearance of women. Now, according to the first book of this series, which I forgot to mention, is called A la Brava, Jalisco is a humble girl that lives on the outskirts of Guadalajara. Her mom takes her to the park to cheer her up with her florico dance, when she suddenly disappears. Jalisco goes to the police, who brush her away. She asks for help, anyone's help, but has only met people who snub her. Jalisco sets off on her own to find her mom, when she encounters a band of Adelitas who all know the fate of her mom but can't tell her about the rampant femicide. Instead, Adela, the matriarch of the Adelitas, says she'll train her so she can learn to protect herself against Maliche, the traitor to our gender, the leader of the femicides, and who most likely took her mom. Jalisco prepares to storm the mission and take down Maliche. Now, this is really cool. If you know florico, it is a very popular dance tied to Latin roots, and if you also notice, there are blades attached to the dress, so that is equally cool. So here is the back cover of it in all of its glory, and the artwork is very, very unique, very, very stylish, really, really impressive, and I am eager to share this with you all very soon. And it is my goal to get the next 4 books and hopefully get the author on the show for an interview. Now, the next book that I will be showcasing here on the channel is, of course, one called The Immortal Era by Finish Line Comics. Now, the artwork in Immortal Era is very, very nice. It is really, really cool. It is stylish. It is very, very direct. And the artwork is very, very unique. I may be saying that word a lot because it is true. The artwork by these authors and their illustrators really make their work stand out. Now, the Immortal Era is a really interesting story. It is a post-apocalyptic world 200 years in the future, where Earth has become a hopeless world without death. With natural resources depleted, society has become fractured, with countless citizens forced to live underground in abandoned subway systems of a crumbling city. There, our heroes are forced to fight for their very existence, while being tasked with seeking ancient relics to help them understand the reasons for humanity's current plight, which is, of course, immortality, unable to die. In this quest, they will attempt to uncover the keys to restoring the natural cycle of life and saving humanity by killing them. So, I'll definitely be reviewing this on the channel, and like the last one, try to get the author on board for an interview. Let me just put that away. And the next book that really piqued my interest as a student of history is The Kid and the Ripper. Now, from what I've been told about The Kid and the Ripper, is that imagine a world where Jack the Ripper didn't die, and he somehow fled Victorian London, England, and somehow made his way to the American West, where he meets Billy the Kid. This is a very interesting story. The artwork itself is very, very ruggish, very, very unique, and more importantly, it really fits the style of the comic. Very gritty, very robust, and it does not shy away from who these men are. Jack the Ripper being one of the most prolific serial killers in English history, and Billy the Kid, one of the most famous outlaws and gunslingers of the American West. Now, I hope you all enjoy this book when I do my book impressions, and hopefully I'll try to get the creators on board for an interview. Now, this one really stuck out to me because it is very much like my upcoming novel, Michael, Archangel of Earth, and that is, of course, the Arcs. Now, if you can't already guess from the title, this has to deal with angels and demons. Now, the artwork reminds me a lot of Judge Dredd, Spawn, that really dark, gritty, I've heard some people say underground style comics, and it really fits the narrative of the story because this is not a very pleasant story. And the tagline for this is, "How strong is your faith?" Centuries after God's abdication from Earth, the 7 archangels are trapped in a losing war against Lucifer and his demonic forces. Unable to ascend to heaven, unable to even die, the Arcs were tasked by the Almighty to keep humanity safe from Lucifer until his return. But as time ticks on, as more and more angels are clawed to shreds by the demons, as angels begin to lose their faith and join the Hellions, the Arcs must face the real question that they are too afraid to ask. What if God isn't coming back to save them? So you have a lot of religious elements in here in terms of the characters, the topic of faith, and what it means to follow faith, blind faith, some people would say, and just trying to hold on in a world that's just, no pun intended, gone to hell. So I'm really excited to share this story, and I'm really interested to see where the story goes from this. Now, this one I am really excited to share, and that is, of course, nuclear power. Think of the Cuban Missile Crisis meets the X-Men. What makes this book so special is that I will be featuring the writers behind this comic on the channel as part of my May lineup of authors. And the artwork has that very unique color tone. You have red, you have green, you have blue, so forth, to represent the mutants, the humans, and so forth. The artwork, I can't say enough about it. It is very, very stylish, very, very cool. And according to the official synopsis, it reads as follows. October of 62, the Cold War between the US and the Soviet Union is at its peak when the unthinkable happens, a nuclear war. 60 years later, the remaining 13 states rose from the ashes to form the American Union, governed by the authoritarian Joint Chiefs of Staffs and protected by a border wall to keep out nuclear radiation and the individuals who were enhanced by it. Nuclear power is a darkly poignant alternate history of the Cuban Missile Crisis that posits the lengths to which a government will go to protect or deceive its citizens. When the Joint Chiefs' dark secrets are revealed, will survivors on both sides of the wall join forces to fight for their right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, or where their differences forever divide them? So I am very eager to showcase this, as well as have the two writers on the channel very soon. So if you follow my newsletter, I just updated and it has their name as well as their date of their interview. And the last comic that I'll be showcasing on the channel is, of course, Street Fury by New Creations Comics. Now, Street Fury is a comic series that delves into your standard comic story of heroes uniting, but it's definitely unique in the sense it's trying to be like the old school comic shows that if you were a kid who saw Static Shock, Justice League Unlimited, the animated Batman, and the New Adventures of Batman, it really harkens back to this. And I'm really excited to share this on the channel because it deals with a lot of very, very mature topics and it's handled really well. The artwork is very, very stylish, very, very comic book hero-like, and I can't wait to share this with you all. And these are actually some of the other comics that New Creation Comics also publishes, so be on the lookout because I may be also showcasing these on the channel as well. Now, with the comics out of the way, let me show you some of the books that I'll be showcasing on the channel as well. Now, the first book is, of course, based off of a comic series called the Boston Metaphysical Society. And according to the author, imagine an alternate steampunk history where ghosts and demons are a normal part of life. Families known as the Great Houses control the economy of the great states of America, and the middle and lower class Irish sole purpose is to not only serve them, but to rid their lives of supernatural beings. Compiled together for the first time are 7 stories based on the popular steampunk comic Boston Metaphysical Society. The collection includes Steampunk Rat and the Demons of Liberty Row, in addition to the previously published short stories The Clockwork Man and The Way Home. All stories are prequel to the comic and contain no spoilers. The book also contains line art by Emily Hugh. So I'm really eager to showcase this on the channel and hopefully get the author on board for an interview. And this really, really piqued my interest because I have not read a steampunk story at all. So this is my first introduction into it. Now, the next book I'll be reading is, if you're a fan of The Matrix and Cyberpunk 2077, if that is the correct name of the game, then you'll love this book by Rachel E. Beck, Defrag. And, according to the author, the world is hers for the breaking. The neon-washed streets of Neosaka are a treacherous place to make a living. That goes double for Glitch, a hacker with more talent for computers than people and a score to settle with the mega corporations that own her city. What should have been a simple data grab turned deadly one night on the 189th floor of a high-security surveillance company when a rival team of thieves show up looking for the same score. With a relentless security force on the way, Glitch is faced with an impossible task. Ally with her new enemies, or none of them will make it out of the building alive. That would be hard enough if some of her prospective allies didn't also have hidden agendas of their own. So, as I said before, if you're fans of The Matrix and Cyberpunk 2077, you will definitely love this book. And, like the others, I plan to get the author on board for an interview. And still kind of in the same world of tech and mechanics and technology. The next book I'll be reading is by Brian Fitzpatrick called Mechcraft. And according to the synopsis, 15-year-old Jake London's ideal teen life is thrown into chaos when he discovers the ability to telepathically control a swarm of shape-shifting nanotechnology that has, until recently, laid dormant in his DNA. With Mechcraft, Jake can summon liquid metal through his pores to create any object he can imagine, but he's not alone. A secret world opens to him, revealing a hidden society of fellow Mechcrafters entrenched in a war between three factions vying for dominance. Being the first person born with nanotech, Jake becomes caught in the center of the warring faction schemes, each believing his potential power will be the wild card to deliver them victory. Now, with Mechcraft agents Bex and Trent escorting him and a horde of enemies in pursuit, Jake finds himself in a desperate race to safety. Will the agents be able to get Jake to their headquarters, or will sinister faction leader Sasha exploit his power? Now, that is really interesting. So this is a world where you, as a person, have the ability to splice your DNA and have nanotechnology. And from what I've been told by the author, there are a lot of people that do this, and it's just all over the world. But Jake is different. He's the first person to be born with it. So he had this power transferred to him by either his mother or his father. And I'm really excited to delve into this world of true science fiction. So, be on the lookout for when this book drops with this episode. And the next science fiction book that I'll be reading is Tin Star by Cecil Castellucci. And Tin Star, from what I've been told by the author, is really, really interesting. It has to do with identity and where we belong and who do we belong with. Here's a little teaser. I knew where I was. I was on a remote space station 16 light years from Earth. I knew where I was supposed to be, on a colony ship, heading to a new planet. And I knew what Brother Blue was thinking as his boot came toward me, that my body was no longer his problem. Severely beaten and left for dead, Tula Bane finds herself abandoned on an alien space station far from Earth. Here she must adopt to the extraterrestrial way of life by outsmarting and trading with the natives. Luckily, she befriends Heklik, an alien who helps her survive in the deep underbelly of the station. As Tula gets back on her feet, she thirsts for revenge. And when the perfect opportunity presents itself, in the form of three humans crash landing on the station, the itch to escape is irresistible. But as the maps of the galaxy changes, Tula discovers that things are more interconnected and more complicated than she had originally thought. Vengeance will not be easy for her. And if the name Castellucci sounds familiar, she has written several books for comics as well as young adult stories. And I will hopefully be featuring her on the channel sometime during the summer. So be on the lookout for that. And finally, the last book that I'll be showcasing here on the channel is Origin, Book 1 of Parallax by Matt Conant and Lauren Capolo. Now, this is another true sci-fi story that also has to deal with gene splicing, nanotechnology, advancements in human civilization and society, and so forth. A conspiracy threatens everyone in the colonized worlds, and only they can stop it. In a distant future where advancements in cybernetics and gene splicing have resulted in a dozen different variants of the human gene, of the human species, three individuals find themselves entangled in a conspiracy that could doom everyone in the colonized world. Paige Angstrom, a fierce and loyal peacekeeper, yearns to shield her sister Voltara from a life of corporate indentured servitude. Hemlock Shaw, a gene splice engineer, tirelessly searches for his missing eco-activist wife. And Emerald Ray, a no-nonsense bounty hunter, embarks on a mission to find a vanished wastelander named Louis Duquesne. Amidst deadly power outage, vanishing civilians, and stalled terraforming projects, the trio unearths a cover-up of epic proportions. The revelation sends shockwaves through their lives, forcing them to confront their own identities and become unlikely heroes in the struggle against the very architects of the Terran race. Now, I have also had the opportunity to speak with the author, and we are in the process of scheduling an interview. So be on the lookout for more details regarding Origin Book 1 of Parallax. Well, listeners, I hope you enjoyed this little update video. I'm really excited to showcase these books here on the channel. And I hope you all enjoy the content I've been making and be on the lookout for more details of Michael, the Last Angel of Earth, in terms of pre-orders, as well as ARC applications, because those will be coming soon. Again, thank you from the bottom of my heart for subscribing to my channel, enjoying the content that I make, and just supporting me and my journey. I never thought I would be a YouTuber, but here we are. Until next time, this has been the Wandering Scribe and the Wandering Quill, signing out, and as always, may the Force be with you.